I still remember the night my parents laughed at me over dinner, saying, "At least we have one genius in the family." They meant my sister, obviously. I forced a smile, pretending it didn't sting, but deep down, it felt like a knife twisting in my chest. My sister Claire was the golden child, straight A's, debate team champion, and eventually the proud recipient of a full scholarship to Harvard. Meanwhile, I was the dumb one, the one who just wasn't academic, as Mom loved, to put it with a pitying look. But what she really meant was, I was a disappointment. And when I finally decided to show them I wasn't as useless as they thought, it changed everything, in ways none of us saw coming. Tell me honestly, was I wrong for what I did? Growing up, it wasn't like I didn't try. I studied hard, but grades never came easy. Numbers blurred, essays felt impossible, and I always needed more time than others. Teachers would call my parents, telling them I was a bright kid, but unfocused. My dad would sigh and tell me to just be more like your sister. That became his favorite line. Claire could study for 1 hour and get 98%. I'd study for 6 and barely scrape a C+. She never rubbed it in, at least not at first. But as we got older, her success became a weapon my parents used to beat me down. When Claire got accepted to Harvard, the entire family threw a party. Relatives flew in. Neighbors congratulated us. And there were banners and balloons that said, "Our Harvard star." I helped set everything up, blowing up balloons until my cheeks hurt. Nobody noticed that my own college application results had come in the same weekend, and I'd been rejected by every university I applied to. During the party, my mom stood up with a glass of wine and said, "We're so proud of Claire. We always knew she'd go far. Some kids just have that spark, you know?" She looked right at me when she said it, as if to drive the knife deeper. I just smiled and clapped, pretending I was fine, but I wasn't. I decided that night I wasn't going to live in my sister's shadow anymore. I didn't know how, but I swore to myself that I'd find something that was mine, something I was good at. After graduation, Claire went off to Harvard and I didn't. My parents said I could either get a job or pay rent. So, I took a job at a local electronics store, stocking shelves and fixing customer complaints. It wasn't glamorous, but for the first time I felt useful. I learned how things worked: computers, phones, even security systems. I had a knack for solving problems people didn't even know how to describe. My manager noticed and started giving me more responsibility. One day, a customer came in furious because his security camera system wasn't working. I fixed it in 10 minutes and explained what was wrong. He was so impressed that he offered me a side gig, setting up cameras for his small business. That one gig led to another, and before I knew it, I was getting calls from people all over town who needed help with tech installations. I started a small business out of my garage. Just me, a toolbox, and an old laptop. I called it Smart Shield Solutions. It wasn't fancy, but I poured my heart into it. I'd work 14-hour days, learning, experimenting, watching YouTube tutorials, taking online certifications, all without telling my parents. I didn't want to hear Mom's voice say, "That's cute, honey, but when are you getting a real job?" For months, I kept my head down and worked. Eventually, I saved enough to rent a tiny office space. I built a website, printed business cards, and within a year, I had my first big client, a chain of local stores that wanted smart security systems installed in all their branches. That job alone paid more than what I'd earned in 6 months at the electronics store. I wanted to tell my parents so badly, to finally show them I wasn't a failure, but I held back. I wanted to wait until I could prove it beyond question. Meanwhile, Claire would call home every week, telling Mom and Dad about her professors, her research, her Harvard life. Every phone call ended the same way, my mom bragging to everyone on speakerphone while I washed dishes in the background. "You hear that?" she'd say. "Claire might intern for a senator next summer." Then she'd glance at me. "So what have you been up to, honey?" I'd shrug and say, "Just work." And she'd smile politely, clearly uninterested. 2 years went by like that. Claire was now a junior at Harvard, and I was running a small but profitable business with 4 employees. We'd just landed a contract with a regional bank to upgrade their security systems. It was a huge deal, one that could change my life completely. I was finally going to expand, rebrand, and move into a proper office. But before any of that happened, my parents invited me to a family dinner. They said Claire was coming home for the weekend, and they wanted to celebrate her internship at a big investment firm. That night, I dressed in my best clothes. Nothing fancy, but neat. I brought along a small envelope containing a check from the bank deal. I wanted to show them that I'd made something of myself. When I got there, the house was decorated again. Banners, candles, even cake. The moment I stepped in, my mom said, "You're just in time. Claire's telling us about her internship. She's working with billionaires now." Claire beamed, her perfect smile lighting up the room. Then Mom turned to me and said, "So, still fixing computers?" Everyone laughed. My dad chuckled and added, "Hey, maybe one day he can install security systems for Harvard." The room erupted in laughter again. That was it. Something inside me snapped. I forced a smile and said, "Actually, Dad, funny you should mention that. One of my clients is a bank that partners with Harvard for their financial systems. We just signed a deal worth 6 figures." The room went silent. My dad blinked. My mom frowned. Claire's smile faltered. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the check, and placed it on the table. That's just the first payment. For the first time in my life, my parents didn't know what to say. My dad tried to joke it off, saying, "Well, look at that. Our boy's moving up in the world." But I could tell. They were shocked. Claire looked at me, then quietly said, "Wow, I didn't know you started your own business." I just smiled and said, "Yeah, well, not everyone needs a Harvard degree to build something." The rest of the night was awkward. My parents tried to recover the mood, but it was clear something had shifted. They realized I wasn't the dumb one anymore. A few months later, my business exploded. That bank job led to more corporate clients. And soon, I was managing security installations across multiple cities. I upgraded my office, hired more people, and even started developing my own line of smart home devices. The dumb one had become a tech entrepreneur. Then one day, out of nowhere, my mom called. Her voice was softer than usual. She said Claire was struggling. Apparently, her internship hadn't gone as planned. She was burned out, depressed, and unsure if she wanted to continue in finance. Mom said Claire wanted to come home for a while. I told her that was fine, of course. Family is family, no matter what. When Claire came back, she wasn't the same person. The confident, perfect Harvard girl was gone. She looked tired, defeated. One night, she knocked on my door. "Can I talk to you?" she asked. I invited her in. She sat down and said, "I used to think you were lucky. You didn't have the pressure I had. Mom and Dad expected perfection from me, and it's exhausting." I didn't know what to say. Then she looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "You're the only one who seems genuinely happy now. You built something real. I envy that." I realized in that moment, all those years I'd compared myself to her, she'd been trapped in a cage made of expectations. And maybe I wasn't the dumb one after all. Maybe I was just free. So that's the situation I was in, growing up as the disappointment, only to end up on top. But I have to ask you all, if you were me, would you have handled that dinner differently? Would you have stayed quiet to keep the peace? Or done what I did and let them see the truth? Tell me in the comments what you think. Because even now, part of me wonders if I went too far. Anyway, Claire eventually found her footing again. She decided not to return to Harvard for her master's and instead joined my company as a project manager. She's brilliant, organized, and surprisingly humble now. We've rebuilt our relationship from the ground up, not as rivals, but as partners. My parents, on the other hand, took longer to change. For months, they still couldn't fully process the fact that their failure son had outgrown their expectations, but eventually pride replaced embarrassment. Dad now brags about me to everyone. Mom even cried one day saying, "We were so wrong about you." And you know what? I forgave them. Not because they deserved it, but because holding on to that resentment would have kept me stuck in the same dark place they put me in. I realized that success means nothing if you're still angry at the world. Now every time I walk into my office, see my team working, and hear the buzz of my business, I think back to that dinner table, the laughter, the mockery, the sting of their words, and I smile. Because without that pain, I might never have found my drive. So if you're watching this and you've ever been called the dumb one, or made to feel like you'll never measure up, and don't believe it. People's opinions aren't your destiny. Sometimes the late bloomers are the ones who grow the strongest roots. Anyway, that's my story. My parents mocked me for being the dumb one while my sister went to Harvard. But in the end, life had other plans. Like this video if you were on my side. Subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated by your own family? Because sometimes the sweetest revenge is just proving them wrong. I'll see you all in the next story.